Hello, good evening. We're back. It's the ILFL Soccer Night Show. Back with you after a short break for Eid. But here we are. We're back, and you know what's new? The Winter League has started. 2016-17 ILFL. 2 divisions that we're going to talk about. 2 tough divisions as it is as well. Division of 9 and Division of 10. Premier Division, First Division. We're going to talk about the First Division in a little while, but we're going to start talking about the Premier Division. And to help me with that, I have the Mia brothers, but they're not really brothers really. But anyway, we have Nanu Mia to my left, who's going to talk about his team, Hawk and Eagle, as well as talking about the vets later on. And we have Shaquille Mia to my right, who's going to talk about his team, Bromley. And maybe not talk about the vets because he's not there yet. So I'm going to show you, even though there were 9 teams, there are only 2 fixtures in the Premier Division yesterday. 1 fixture was postponed and rescheduled. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on in this segment. But let me show you the 2 fixtures that did take place. Welcome to these 4 teams in the Premier Division. Here we go. Robin Hood Tigers. Welcome to the ILFL Premier Division. And a welcome indeed, because Bromley welcomed you with a 4-1 thrashing. That can't be a thrashing. This is a thrashing. Stepney beat Hawk and Eagle by 6 goals to 0. And with that fresh from my lips, I have to turn to my left. Nanu Mia, you're not getting off the hook very easily. Come on, guys, you came out of the Premier Division back in the last season. We spoke about the transition. You've gone through the Summer League, bedding in players, trying things out. You must have had high aspirations. You've come up against former Premier Division champion Stepney, who showed you just what it's going to be all about.
I know. It wasn't the strongest Stepney team either, but I must admit, Hawk and Eagle didn't have the strongest team either. So let's just say, player-wise, it was quite fair. So it wasn't the strongest team, both teams. Stepney, what can I say? I was actually playing myself, and I recognise a few players because they were in the same age group as me. You know, Tariq was there.
It was almost a vets v vets game, almost, wasn't it?
Kind of. But Stepney had that edge. You know, they had a few players that will be turning vets very soon, but they're very proficient in playing in the open age senior team, you know, and they're very good, you know, they're very pacey. You know, you play in the vets and you talk about skills, posture, composure, and nutmegs and everything, but as soon as you go into the Sunday, you know, it's all about pace and physicality, you know, and if you don't have the pace, then you just can't keep up. And I think that's what Stepney actually found out. The Hawk and Eagle didn't have that pace at the back, and they took full advantage. As soon as they found the gap, they put the first goal in. That took them about 10-12 minutes, and then the second 2 came in on the first half, and then in the second half, another 3 was scored. You know, Hawk and Eagle just didn't have any chance, you know, in the middle, up front. It was just outpaced, outwitted, outskilled Stepney. You know, although they had a lot of vets in the teams, you know, these players have been playing in Stepney for the last 15-20 years, you know, and they know each other very well. So, yeah, they had the upper hand, they had the advantage, and they actually do deserve to win the game as well, that's all I can say.
It's going to be a tough season for Hawk and Eagle. Let's flip it around and let's not take anything away from Stepney. I mean, we can talk about them having a strength in depth then, because if they're not fielding a very young side, we've still got the very experienced, very established players still able to turn up and do it. Okay, let's just say, let's just remove ourselves from the fixture if we can a little bit, and let's just say they were playing an average team in the Prem. How do you see that Stepney side faring against some of the younger, fitter, stronger teams that they will come up against in the Prem?
It's going to be tough for them. It really will be tough for them because the Stepney team, as mentioned, you know, they've got quite a few vets players in there. As soon as they come up against a team that has an age group of between 20 and 28 or 30, you know, they will struggle because those players are going to be really pacey. And right now, because they played Hawk and Eagle, which wasn't the very strongest team, where they lacked the pace and then the composure, you know, they had some of the younger boys to come and cover for them, and that made it a lot easier for some of the senior boys to, you know, keep up with the game. But as soon as they face a team that is very young and all around, you know, how many times can a young player cover for you? You know, that would be really tough. So you might give your first 20 minutes, they might be able to just keep up, and then as soon as the legs start getting a little bit tired, they're gonna find it really tough.
Wow. Well, there you go. 6-0 drubbing. You don't see many of those in the Premier Division, but there it was. A 6-0 drubbing for Hawk and Eagle. I'm sure they'll tighten things up because the games are coming thick and fast, and they don't come any easier next week as well. We'll talk about that in a little while. But now I'm going to turn to you, Shaq. Bromley, who have been up and down in the last couple of seasons, had mixed results. This was a great start for them. I mean, they would have expected a tough game against Robin Hood Tigers, but it looked pretty easy in the end.
Yeah, I mean, look, no one would be able to upset Bromley yesterday because they were all smiling because they were on a tour today. So they will be in a very ceremonial mood. They will be in a very happy mood. So I think they went yesterday to have more fun than what they usually are. So there was no pressure. Go out there, enjoy yourself because you're going on the tour. So I felt sorry for Robin Hood because it was the first game. To play against Bromley would have been very tough.
So, same question to you regarding Robin Hood Tigers. I mean, Bromley are an established team in the Premier Division. Tigers have just come up, would have liked to have done well. How do you think Tigers are going to find it in the Prem now?
They're going to have fun really tough. They will. Because last season, they were on, off, they were on a bit cold, a bit hot, very hot, and then they were cold. So they're a very unpredictable team, but they're going to find it tough. And when I mean tough, in the cold winter, snowy days, when it's really, really raining, that's going to be a really test for them. But I think they will struggle. They will struggle. They're, I think, one of the weakest team after Hawk and Eagle. I think they will struggle unless they, recruit more players. They strengthen the team. I think they need more physical players. I know they have energy in the team. But when I look at teams, do they have enough energy? Can they last for 90 minutes? Can they last 60 minutes? Some teams, they start really well, and then in the second half, they just wear out. And
sometimes with Robin Hood Tigers, it's a little bit different, where they start badly, and then they move on and they get better. In contrast now, Bromley, then, are we expecting good things from Bromley? Is this the season now where we can really look to see Bromley kicking on, and really making a push for a top 3 finish?
Yes and no, because I think there's a slight change in Bromley. I think they might be mixing with another team, so they're gonna have a different manager, I think. So they are the little transition time. Last season they struggled. Honestly, they really struggled.
They did indeed.
And I think this year, they're gonna try and do more experiment and find out they're going to try a new keeper. There's a new manager in, I think, and they're going to join up with the manager. So I think there's experiment time for them. But I think they're going to see how far they can go. Last year, they have to do better than last year. That's no doubt about it.
Okay, that seems to be what everyone can do better. It's only the first game for some. Some are still waiting, champing at the bit and waiting to get started. Let's see what happens there. Premier Division fixtures for next week look like this. They're here on the screen for you right now, and we can talk about them a little bit. Robin Hood Tigers now move on to play Beaumont. Beaumont get to kick off their first game this Sunday. Nanu, what do we know about Beaumont? What are we expecting of Beaumont? Dismal season last season.
Yeah,
got
absolutely.
to do better.
They have to. It's one of those other teams that will find life in the Premier Division very tough. Same as Robin Hood Tigers and Hawk and Eagle. So those 3 teams, I see them, they might struggle a little bit. Although I think Beaumont is probably better placed because they have a very good structure. There's no changes in the team. In fact, they've enhanced the team. They've got very good new players in the team. Because Robin Hood Tigers haven't changed much. They're pretty much the same group of players. And their style of football is more suited for the first and second division, not the Premier Division. As soon as they're up with the big boys, they're going to falter. Hawk and Eagle, they're just not ready yet. I don't think they're ready for the Premier Division just yet.
This is a tough game for them coming up this week as well against Ace.
I think this is the game for them to win, to kick off the start next week.
For who?
For Hawk and Eagle.
To beat Ace?
Yeah, I think that's the perfect game for them. I really think this is a perfect game for them to kick start because they've been their aces.
It'll be tough for them because you didn't get much joy out of them in the summer league.
No, we didn't. We lost quite badly against them.
Yeah,
but I still think this is the start. I think that when the manager comes for a team talk, I think the way he needs to start is that game. It's your start of the season. Forget about last week or yesterday, but I think this is your start, and I'm sure they have to start winning that, and you have to start by beating Ace. No disrespect to Ace, but for Hawken it's a big game.
We are talking about a very strong ace team.
We are talking about a very strong ace team who will relish being back in the Premier Division as well, and are one of those who can really upset a few.
Yeah, they've got a few Portuguese players, and they do play Portuguese football as well. They've got a bit of that flavour in the
European
footballing
champions,
style.
Portugal.
Well, there you go. You know, and yeah, they're a very good team. You know, I mean, Hawken, don't mind me saying. I mean, they used to be a very, very good, strong teams. You know, but things don't stay the same all the time. You know, things do change. Players do move on, and want to do other things, and then maybe progress. But Hawken, let's just say they're back in the infamousy. They'll be getting new players. They'll have to get new players in. So more recruitment would be needed to get them in a position where they can start challenging teams like Ace. But there's no reason why we couldn't beat a team like Robin Hood. Maybe Beaumont will give him a good game. Beaumont and Robin Hood Tigers will give him a good game. But Ace will be a tough nut to crack for us. London Tigers reach out. I don't want to say much about them because
London Tigers reach out is the biggest game, if we like. First v second, went all the way down to the wire last time out, and that clearly is the big game. And then there's the game St Catherine's v Stepney, which will also be a very big game. St Catherine's making a huge leap up to the Premier Division. I'm going to talk about St Catherine's in the second segment of the show. We've also got the Vets League to talk about. Lots more to come. We'll look at the other remaining fixtures to come this Sunday. It's all here for you. The second segment of the ILFL Soccer Night Show. We'll be back.